Hi everyone, my name's Kathy. Welcome to Skint Living UK. Sorry I'm in my pyjamas again. I've had a lousy night's sleep. I have arthritis in my hands and my hands are being killing me and I just couldn't settle. So hence this. Today I just wanted to talk about how agency work kept me in debt. Before I go off on my big ramble, I want to say, if you're a new viewer, I'm really happy you're here. You're more than welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks so much for your support and your lovely comments. It just keep me going. It's so wonderful. I'm trying to fix my house up at the moment, so I can hopefully, get it up for sale this year. I've got this big, long, never-ending list of things to do. So, thank you. I do appreciate it. If you can hear noises, it's next door. They're renovating the back room. So the noise is just because the house sold about a month ago, so they've had builders in. So please excuse the noise. So let's crack on. So this is how agency work kept me in debt rather than helping me with finances. It made it worse. I used to be a full-time teacher. I taught secondary school, 11 to 18-year-olds. I was an IT teacher and I did that for 7.5 years. I packed it in because basically I was burnt out, totally stressed, totally buggered. I'd been in hospital. Not to be melodramatic, I died on the operating table. And the doctor just said, "You've just wiped out your buggers." It's funny, I keep having doctors telling me I'm buggered. I should get the inch, shouldn't I? I need to stop sometimes. So after that I had a short break because I had to go back to work because I was a single mum. I wasn't getting any child support and I had a mortgage to pay. So I was solely responsible for my children. There was no one coming to rescue me. My mum was still alive there, but she was there physically, but in any other respect, she was no. Anyway, so I'd bought a house when I was pregnant with my youngest, and we moved in when he was 4 weeks old. It was a fixer-upper. It was a little terraced house, nothing fancy, but it did need a lot of work. Like this house, it was old plaster falling off the walls or flaking off the walls. Now if you touched it, the walls moved because the plaster was blown. It was about to come off. New kitchen, new bathroom, all the rest of it. But it was all I could afford, so I tried to buy the worst house in the nicest area, which paid off because in 2019 I put the house up for sale, sold it, and we moved into this house in 2020, February 2020, and there was enough equity to pay off the last of the mortgage on the old house so we could move out, and enough to buy this house. And again, another fixer-upper. But there you go, you live and learn, don't you? Still a roof over our head, and we're really lucky, we're blessed because there's no mortgage anymore. So that's been the impetus for me not to go to work, to be honest, because my biggest things were out the way. My mortgage was paid. I don't have a car, so there's no associated costs with it either. Never had a car. And my kids were grown up. No offence to my kids, but kids are expensive. So because they were grown up, it wasn't as bad. My youngest was about to finish his A-levels and go to university. My oldest had moved back in and moved into this house with us because he split up with his partner and came home from London and was here for a while. So to get back to the agency work, so after packing in full-time teaching, because I was working till 2 in the morning, going in over holidays, because being an IT teacher, the course, it was 100% coursework, so if the kids failed, it was your fault. Yeah, the managers and all that would just, it was basically you were harassed because the kids had coursework, but there wasn't enough timetable time, so they were always in school after school. I used to do 4 nights a week, I used to come in the first day of the holidays and the half term and all that to try and get the kids to come in and catch up. Bribery and corruption. I'd bring some pop and some crisps or something in as well. So yeah, so I started agency work around 2008, 2009, and so I enrolled with an agency, an education work agency, to be a supply teacher, and you had to get a certificate to prove you haven't got a criminal record or a dodgy background or anything like that, the name of which keeps changing. Anyway, you had to pay for that when you're in full-time teaching. The school pays for it, but for agency you have to pay for that, and has the agency's name on. So it took weeks to come through, so you couldn't get any work because you weren't proved to be safe until you got this certificate. They used to call it DBS. I can't remember what they call it now. And now it's online, none of this printing out paper thing. So if you have changed to a different agency, you'd have to get a new certificate, and that's why they do it online now. So no matter what agency you're with, it's online, and any agency and any school can see it. Because usually when you turn up school, you have to have the certificate and proof of ID, because they need to know that who you say you are. So yeah, so by then, my son was older. He was in breakfast club and after school club. They were always trying to get out of me what definitive days he was going to be doing, because most people would book certain days or the whole week. And I couldn't do that because I didn't have a crystal ball. So, yeah, so that was stressful because I didn't know what days, and they were also, when's he coming in? In the end, they realised, yeah, and they sort of eased up off me because they were lovely, the staff, and they just got to know me over the years, and they were like, yeah, so they knew it was as and when. But I was always playing catch up with that, because when you do agency work, the problem with it is you don't know when you're going to work or even where you're going to work. So one of my biggest worries after the mortgage was council tax, which is a local tax. And I was constantly going to the offices in Liverpool, we call it the one-stop shop. So you go in and ask about your council tax. I had to keep going in with me pay slips, and they kept asking me how much you're going to be earning this year. I kept saying I haven't got a crystal ball, I don't know. So the first 2 years of agency work, I got a little bit of council tax reduction, and after that it became really awkward. And for 8 years I didn't get any reduction, and even though theoretically I was entitled to it, because they wouldn't back pay it. They would back pay it a few weeks, but that would be about it. So I was constantly in there. You'd have to queue to tell them that you were there, and then you'd sit down, and you could sometimes wait in there a good couple of hours before you got seen. Sometimes you were lucky, you'd wait 40 minutes, 20 minutes, and then there's other times you felt like you lived there. I felt like I lived there anyway, because I was always in there. So the problem with agency work is, like I said, you don't know when you're going to get any work. Teaching is even worse, because there's lots of weeks when people are off. 2 weeks for Christmas, 2 weeks for Easter, half terms, that's a full week. So in total, I think it's 12, 13 weeks a year that there isn't any work anyway, because you can't go to school when it's shut. September was always quiet, because January we were filling in for staff who were sick, ill, on maternity pay, or whatever. So September was always quiet. So you wouldn't really get anywhere till October. And then at the end of October, it was half term. And then you'd be back in November, and then Christmas was looming, and you'd be off again. And I was, so you're on this. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's, and you get like a day and a half, maybe 2 days a week. So we were just sort of on a level playing field. I paid bills, but there was no extra. It was definitely living hand to mouth. And then when it was the summer holidays, oh my God, I tried to put money away for summer, but easier said than done. Sometimes I would, and sometimes, and then I just got fed up with it all. When my son was little, I started doing eBay on this as well. I was working full time, because all my money was going to mortgage and childcare. So I upped the ante on eBay, and doing upholstering as well. So I'd upholster ottomans, stools, chairs, anything that needed upholstering basically, and flogging on. Because so I'd be going to car boots, second-hand shops, trying to find bits of furniture for me to paint up and upholster. So that was like a second job really, always on the hunt for furniture to renovate. And, sorry, I feel a little bit of a cold still going here. And so if I wasn't working at home doing schoolwork, or I wasn't physically in school, I was looking for furniture to renovate. So even though I was technically part-time, I wasn't. I was always doing something. My kids just go, Mum, stop, you need to stop, you need to stop. And I go, I can't, I've got no choice. Gas bills in, council tax bills in. At the time, we had TV licence, and I was in arrears with them, so they give me a payment card. And I was paying them weekly at one point in the little sweet shop. They have a little till called Pay Point, and you were paying them. So when we moved here, I was like, no more of that, because they would hound you once you paid that year's TV licence. They wanted you to start paying the next year's, even though it wasn't the next year. There's no other bill anywhere where they want you to pay in advance like that. So I was like, once we moved, I was like, no, that's dead, because we had Netflix and we had Virgin Media in the other house. So when we moved here, we had nothing, got rid of everything. I said, no, I'm not paying for streaming services and I'm not paying for TV licence. So at least I got rid of one bill, got rid of the mortgage as well. So, yeah. Just having a look at my little notes. Yeah, so I've just got fed up with the financial merry-go-round, because I was constantly on a catch-up treadmill. I'd get a little bit at work pay, because I was paying my mortgage weekly in the end, because the agency would pay you a week in arrears. So it was easier for me, as money came in, to pay in arrears. Sometimes I'd get big blocks of, like it would be booked for a month or something like that, which was great. But generally, it was erratic, and you didn't know what you were going to have coming in. So because when you don't know what money you've got coming in, it's hard to come up with a budget, as they say these days. You can't have a budget if you don't know what your budget is, because you just don't know what money you've got coming in. So, yeah, sometimes I'd ask my mum for money, but, sometimes when you ask people, you never hear the end of it, do you? So, and your relationship changes because you owe them money. So it wasn't worth the grief. Yeah, I still have it. I've not done any agency work since COVID, and I still get them emailing me and ringing me now and again. And they're still paying the 2008 rate. Teaching assistants, learning assistants, and cover supervisors. Cover supervisors are cheapy teachers. They want you to go in and behave like a teacher, but give you half the money. They're on roughly about £70 a day, which is minimum wage. So theirs has gone up slightly since 2008, because minimum wage has gone up, but the actual teachers' wages are exactly the same. So I always say the same: go and get a calendar, and when you've caught up, let me know. But I wouldn't do it anyway. I've got no chance of getting a full-time position again, because everything's wrong with me. And I've got no inclination to do so, because I don't want to be working till 2 a.m, coming in over the holidays, working after school every night. I want a life, work-life balance and all that sort of thing. And agency work, there's no point, because if I go back and do agency work, I owe half of the student loan, because I had 5 and I've paid 4.5 back. So student loans will hit me. After 2 days, I get taxed. A day and a half. After a day and a half of work, 2 days roughly, the tax will kick in big time, and the student loans. So if I did a full week, those last 3 days will be gone on student loans and taxes, and of course travel, because I don't, because it's never like on your doorstep, is it? So for working for a week, I'd get a day and a half worth of money, maybe 2 at most. It's not really worth me doing, is it? I'm paying every other bugger, not myself. So yeah, so I'm, as the government would say, economically inactive. So that's why I cashed in my teacher's pension when I was 65 and 58 this year. It's tiny, it's less than universal credit, so I'm not rich. People have asked me, why don't I sign on for a universal credit, and I say, well, for just over £100, they will hassle the life out of me, degrade people, they rob people of people's dignity. Don't care what anyone says. When you go to the job centre, it's like smiling assassins, isn't it? They're all very nice to you, but they put the pressure on you and treat you like a second-class citizen. When people could genuinely have mental health issues, genuinely ill, and look at the government now picking on the disabled as well. So, no thank you, I'm not signing up for that. So that's why I still do a little bit of eBay. I do YouTube to keep me sanity. It's really helped so much. I have anxiety, so it's just really helped with that. It's just give me a little bit of focus, and it's nice to chat to such lovely people I talk to from all over the world, Canada, Australia, the US, as well as the UK. That lovely frugal queen of France, she often drops a little message. So it's, yeah. So it's nice to talk to like-minded people. So there you go. Agency work doesn't do you any good financially or mentally. It messes with your head, and other agencies, outside agencies such as the council tax people, want you to have a crystal ball and tell them how much money you're going to be earning. So there you go. I'm sure other agency workers have had the same sort of experience, and if you have, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to know how you got by. Bye for now. I'll look after you and yours.